daydream. I fell asleep amid the flowers for a couple of hours on a beautiful day. Daydream, I dream of you amid the flowers.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh dan selamat datang ke episod khas podcast Keluar Sekejap bersama dengan saya KJ
dan saya Syaril Hamdan
di Coastal Combat Desaru Coast, iaitu acara pertama bagi Visit Johor 2026. Bagi tepukan gemuruh kepada Coastal Combat. Syaril, we were here a few months back.
Ya.
No? Yeah.
Seronok lah datang ke Desaru ni.
Seronok kan?
Selalu dijemput, selalu ada event yang menarik.
Ya. 2-3 bulan yang lepas, 2-3 bulan ke? Kita hadir untuk Ombak Fest.
Untuk Ombak Festival.
Ombak Festival. Dan hari ini kita kembali untuk Coastal Combat, satu acara pertarungan dalam gelanggang yang dibuat julung-julung kalinya di Desaru Coast ini. I remember when we did the interview with the interim CEO of DRH last year, we suggested, and of course the suggestion didn't just come from us, that sports and fitness should be front and center for Desaru Coast. And congratulations to the team at DRH for making it happen. Great start.
Dan saya rasa KJ ini memang menarik Coastal Combat ini, tetapi acara ataupun tema sukan untuk menjadi sebahagian daripada identiti Desaru Coast ni dah memang mula terbina. Ada acara-acara lain. Misalnya ada acara yang acara basikal beberapa tahun dulu yang dilancarkan di sini, yang ada kena-mengena dengan the Tour de France. If I'm not mistaken, you are a cyclist yourself.
I took part in the L'Etape that took place here about 2 years ago.
Okay.
It's a franchise from Tour de France, and great event. Thousands of cyclists, including from international participants as well.
Yeah.
Selain daripada itu, Ironman 70.3, hopefully this year again, for the last 4 years since 2022. Dan juga World Amateur Golf Championship akan diadakan di the Els Golf Course here. Cheryl doesn't play golf, but it's a beautiful golf course. I've played on the golf course and it's wonderful. So really building its reputation regionally as well as di Malaysia sebagai bukan hanya destinasi pelancongan tetapi destinasi pelancongan sukan dan kecergasan.
Betul. Bukan hanya sukan tetapi saya lihat Desaru Coast ni dengan fasiliti dia yang lengkap dengan prasarana yang cukup canggih. Bukan hanya sukan tetapi juga mungkin aktiviti ataupun event, what they call MICE, right? Meetings, incentives, conferences, exhibition, business tourism juga boleh menjadi sebahagian daripada identiti Desaru Coast.
Dan kita bukan hanya cakap sebagai promoter Desaru Coast, tetapi saya difahamkan Syaril sendiri akan membawa rakan-rakan sekerja untuk satu sekerja. Event retreat MICE juga.
Betul,
di sini 2 minggu lagi.
Akan saya laksanakan insya-Allah awal bulan Februari nanti, di mana rakan-rakan sekerja saya akan datang ke Desaru Coast mengguna pakai prasarana yang saya sebut tadi sebab memang lokasinya cantik, sesuai. Rakan-rakan sekerja saya daripada Eropah akan terbang datang dan mereka pilih Desaru Coast sebagai lokasi untuk kami bermesyuarat dan berstrategi lah kononnya.
Yeah. We were talking to the new boss of DRH, Saudara Darhim tadi, berkaitan dengan perancangan his plans for Desaru Coast. Very exciting. We're looking forward to more events and more programming at KS. We're ready to continue to work together and assist you in making this truly a world-class destination. And I think what Cheryl said just now was so true. Connectivity is improving. Better connectivity from Singapore. I think the road is, the highway is being broadened so that you can get here from Senai Airport much quicker in the future. And of course, more things are being built up around the Bandar Penawa and also the Desaru area so that there are multiple offerings, not just here in Desaru Coast, but in the surrounding areas as well. Okay, Cheryl, what are we going to talk about?
Kita datang hari ini untuk aktiviti khusus Coastal Combat ni.
Yep.
Coastal Combat yang macam KJ sebutkan julung-julung kali diadakan di sini. Dan dia menterjemahkan ataupun mencerminkan bagaimana ada segmen yang berbeza lah Sebab waktu ombak festival tempoh hari adalah segmen yang lain. Kalau datang hari ini kita lihat dan saya dipahamkan semalam KJ, satu reaksi ataupun sambutan yang sangat hangat. Bukan hanya daripada peserta-peserta antarabangsa yang datang untuk Coastal Combat ini, tetapi kalau kita lihat di depan mata kita juga ramai peserta tempatan, terutamanya dan termasuk kanak-kanak ataupun remaja.
Yeah. And we were talking to Murray earlier, the GM of the Hard Rock Hotel, and he was telling us how exciting the fight was last night. Not just participants from Malaysia, but also fighters and fans from around the region. Of course, it's a test run this year to see how much traction we can get with something like this. But, you know, if we build on this success, who knows, we can probably bring in a bigger fight in the future.
Dan sukan Muay Thai ni KJ, dan KJ mungkin lebih arif tentang perkara ini, dia tidak dilihatlah sebagai macam golf, sukan yang dilabel seperti elite dan sebagainya. Muay Thai ni lebih membumi dan lebih mempunyai ikutan massa.
Ya, dan sukan Muay Thai dan sebenarnya sukan combat pelbagai acara sedang meningkat dari segi dia punya populariti. Baru-baru ni saya ucapkan tahniah kepada Datuk Shahnaz yang kita akan jemput nanti, sebab pada sukan C di Thailand baru-baru ni Malaysia telah menang 3, kalau tak silap saya, 3 pingat emas in Thailand in Muay Thai.
Cantik.
So congratulations to Persatuan Muay Thai Malaysia. Kita pergi ke gelanggang dia, kita menang. Combat sports is getting a lot of traction right now. In fact, even as we speak, I'm sacrificing watching the UFC interim lightweight title, which is being fought right now.
Right.
Justin Gagey against Paddy Pimblett. But happy to be doing this. Jadi tanpa melengahkan masa, saya nak jemput sahabat saya, Dato Shahnaz Azmi, iaitu Presiden Persatuan Muay Thai Malaysia, untuk bersama dengan kita dalam gelanggang. Datuk Shahnaz ni antara Presiden Persatuan Sukan yang paling lama lah pegang jawatan Presiden. Dia sejak saya jadi Menteri Belia dan Sukan.
Masih dia?
Pada abad yang ke-14. dah jadi Presiden Muay Thai. But those days, sukan ni just started appearing in Malaysia. I mean, Muay Thai dah lama dah, tapi dia punya popularity tak sampai tahap seperti mana hari ni. So first of all, Assalamualaikum Tok, apa khabar? How are you?
Baik,
okay.
baik.
Pertamanya sekali lagi tahniah atas kejayaan atlet Muay Thai di Malaysia. Sebelum kita cakap lebih umum tentang sukan combat dan juga sukan Muay Thai, mungkin Datuk nak ceritakan sikit tentang Coastal Combat, idea untuk adakan Coastal Combat ni dan kerjasama yang telah pun dijalin bersama dengan Desaru Coast.
Okay, thank you Chief KJ, Syaril. Actually, sukan Muay Thai ni, to be honest with you, most of the milestones, it's during Chief jadi Sports Minister. Kita menang pingat, kita anjurkan kejohanan dunia, kita buat sukma, Muay Thai diterima masuk sukma sebab Chief 2013, dan lepas tu kita anjurkan sukan C. We were part of Akademi Kejuratihan Kebangsaan dan sebagainya. It's when you were the Sports Minister of Malaysia. So sekarang ni kita nampak hasil-hasilnya yang kita buat dulu. And one of the big event for last year and this year is Coastal Combat. Kita faham yang combat sport is a $1 billion industry. It's huge in the East, it's huge in the West. Obviously, we have the UFCs, we have the One Championship, and in Malaysia, we have multiple world champions. We have Rifdain Masdo, which is a 3 times world champion in Muay Thai. Mana Rifdain? Rifdain is here as well. We have Alif, we have Jojo, and we have all the upcoming fighters preparing and gearing up. Cuma for Coastal Combat ni, we understand that because it's a unique platform. Because it's not just a normal Muay Thai fight show, it's a reality show. Okay, they are the episode and episode. And branded content is very important. Because people don't watch advertisement anymore. Okay, you blend your brand into a content. And you know, it's a best platform to promote anything. So for Desaru Coast and all the brands behind it, to be part of coastal combat, it's great because combat sports is growing and we have a lot of followers in Malaysia, and with branded content and storytelling behind it, and it's easy to proliferate about Muay Thai and your brands into the show. So you sell the show and also you sell all the brands and you can put it on in all the social platforms easily. So it's not just a combat sport, it's not just a fight, but there's a storytelling behind it. So content plus storytelling, it's better than normal uninterrupted punya ads. So for me, it's a great platform. It's a good platform for any brands, and Desaru Coast have chose Muay Thai as one of the brand to work with, so it's great.
Datuk, kalau boleh bina daripada penjelasan Datuk tadi berkenaan dengan strategi ataupun pendekatan buat event tetapi juga ada konten, jadi adakah itu mendapat maklum balas yang positif daripada peserta-peserta kat sini dan peserta-peserta tempatan terutamanya? Sebab saya tengok ramai yang muda, mungkin ini juga peluang untuk membina sukan Muay Thai akar umbi itu sendiri. Apa respon peserta-peserta yang Datuk dengar?
Okay, masa saya buat dulu, kita actually I ada curi Chief punya Mima. Reality show dulu. First you buat bola sepak lah.
My team and then Mima.
My team. Lepas tu he already did Mima for MMA. And tak ada platform for Muay Thai masa tu. But yes, kita bawa masuk World Championship in Malaysia. Why? Because every time we do a big event, we want to leave a legacy. That is very important for us. And we want to show to the world and in Malaysia that Muay Thai is a safe sport. Ramai tak tahu, Syaril, that Muay Thai, if you are 10, 11 years old, you're not allowed to hit the head. 12 to 13 years old, baru you can hit the head. But you cannot use elbow and knees to the head. Only when you are 14 to 15 years old, you can start kneeing. And you need to have a proper matchmaking dan sebagainya. So, when Coastal Combat ni bawa the idea of Muay Thai plus reality show, local, plus ada international fighters. So all the fighters are very, very keen because 10 years ago, most of the fighters, they don't know how to communicate. They know only how to fight. Now they are on TikTok, they are talking on TikTok, trying to get sponsors dan sebagainya. With Coastal Combat punya platform ni, they bigger opportunities for them. That's what.
So how was macam mana vibes buat acara Coastal Combat ni di Desaru Coast? Adakah bila kita buat di tepi pantai dengan dalam resort yang bertaraf antarabangsa ni nampak macam style sikit lah?
It's a perfect destination marketing. It's like 5-star hotel, 5-star resorts, pretty beaches, plenty of nice places dekat sini, and the kids are enjoying it. And I think partnership with Desaru Coast is perfect for us, for Muay Thai and also as a combat sport. They have been very, very supportive. They gave the maximum they can to all the fighters, not only to the local fighters, but we have a couple of international fighters fighting as well. We have the professional side of Muay Thai, and we also have the amateur side of Muay Thai for the kids 8 years old, 9 years old to compete here. So Coastal Combat, partnering with them, they have been giving them the opportunity. Not only, usually when you come to big resort like this, 5-star, 6-star resort, usually the professional side of it. Okay, the big superstar of Muay Thai. But no, they gave a platform for even the kids to come and fight here.
And then normally Datuk pun tahulah masalah kami dalam sukan combat ni. Kalau dulu nak dapat kerjasama ataupun penajaan daripada syarikat-syarikat ataupun jenama-jenama yang atas ni susah sangat sebab dia nampak combat ni sebagai benda yang violent lah, so they won't touch us. But now of course, brands like Hard Rock, Westin, all that has the foresight to embrace combat sports. So we hope that more brand-brand yang atas ni lah akan membantu dan akan menyokong Muay Thai lepas ni.
Yeah, it was a challenge before because of the brand alignment. Okay, they portray Muay Thai as a bloody sport, as a betting sport in Thailand. But now Muay Thai is recognized by the IOC and it's in a major multi-sports punya events. So that's what we are portraying. But that's why we thank the team behind this yang managed to convince and to do it here. For example, we managed to portray Hard Rock supporting Muay Thai. Tak pernah dibuat lagi di Malaysia, Chief. Tak pernah dibuat lagi. And this will open more opportunities for the sports and to grow the sports to the next level in Malaysia. It's a safe sport. Like I said, it's an IOC recognized sport.
And I like your emphasis on the fact that it's a safe sports and that the National Association is actually clamping down, because I know that there are all these underground influencer fights, side hustle fights. We got to make sure that we continue to tell them, you have to be prepared, you have to train, you have to get sanctioned from Persatuan. Otherwise, the entire sport is going to be brought into disrepute lah.
Yes. Currently, we have new rules. Not only the event has to be sanctioned, that is one of it. Number two, it's all about protecting the boxers, protecting the athletes. You need to be, some athletes or some influencers, they take substances. Who are monitoring all this? Okay, anti-doping is a big thing for us. We have to protect the clean athletes, for example. And then, if you're not fit, how can you fight? Okay, we have cases where, there are cases you are not fit, you go into the ring, you fight, and then after that you collapse. So what we are doing now, we are actually working with ISN, with AKK, to make sure that if you want to be a fighter, you need to have a proper matchmaking. If you have 0 record, you have to fight with 0 record. You tak boleh ada 0 record, you fight with 15 or 20. So proper matchmaking, number one. Number two, you have to be fit. So if you want to fight in the ring, you need to get the SPKK certified coaches by ISN to certify you that you are fit. You have gone through the certain regime of training, 2-3 months. Bukannya hari ni tiba-tiba you have 2 million, 3 million followers on TikTok and suddenly you want to fight and leverage on fighting. Yes, we will allow you that. It's good for the sport, good promotion, but you have to follow the rules and regulation for the safety of them.
Mungkin Datuk, you can explain, boleh terangkan daripada pengalaman Datuk dah bertahun memimpin persatuan, apakah evolusi yang positif yang telah berlaku dalam industri tempatan ni? Misalnya, kalau mendengar penjelasan tu saya dah boleh pick up 2-3 perkara lah. Tapi saya nak Datuk mungkin jelaskan, tekankan betapa pentingnya event ataupun pertandingan tempatan yang membawa peserta antarabangsa supaya peminat ataupun atlet tempatan dapat pendedahan itu di sini dan tak perlu pergi ke Thailand ataupun tak perlu pergi ke negara lain. Nampak tak pertambahan ataupun kemajuan itu semenjak Datuk pegang jawatan?
Chief masa di KBS selalu tekankan about data. Okay, you always must improve. If you are at this level, you must go to the next level. So when he was the sports minister, dia selalu ajar kita Persatuan Sukan Kebangsaan to push and go to the next level. The challenge for Muay Thai as a sport is, kita tahu yang atlet-atlet kita is not as good as the Thais, the Vietnams, the Laos and all. Why? Because their children in Thai, they fight from they are 5 years old, they're 6 years old. And when they are 20 years old, they have about 200 fights, 250 fight records. So the muscle memory is already there. And macam mana kita nak compete? So what Persatuan Kebangsaan apa kita buat adalah, we lower down the age for Sukma. From there, actually age Sukma ni start from 17 daripada MSN. But for us, the first year 17, after that I lower it down to 16, and then after that I lower it down to 15. That's how we found someone like Miki Ghazali, for example, Texas. In Sukma, they are beating the athletes 20, 21 years old. So I understand that in Thailand, they have plenty stadiums. In Laos, they have Muay Laos. The sports comes from this region. Myanmar, they have Letwe. Hun Khmer in Cambodia. How can we fight with them? So you need to have a proper strategy, a strategic plan. So we lower down the age of these fighters so that they can compete from younger age. So at least when they fight internationally, they have 50, 60, 70. Number two is the training style. The things that we already make mistake is we always train like the Thais because we are close with them. You cannot win if we train like the Thais because their fight record is higher than us. You cannot do the same routine every day and expect to beat the Thais. You can't do that. So you have to do extra things. The sport science element of it, okay, the biomechanics behind it, the video analysis, the strength and conditioning has to be different from the Thais. So because Chief bantu kita jadikan Muay Thai ini sebagai salah satu program dalam Akademi Kejurulatihan Kebangsaan. So our coaches are trained. And number three, we put politics aside. We don't care about politics, meaning that if you come from any gym, any clubs, we don't care who you are, what color you are, you come for selection. That selection is open. for Muay Thai. And if you're really good, you represent the country. So we don't care about who you are, who your background, or your association is not aligned with us ke apa. We put that aside. Only the best of the best will represent Malaysia. So there are certain kaedah yang kita buat lah, strategic planning yang kita buat to make sure that we can compete internationally. Then we stand them out and compete out there. And sometimes some events like Coastal Combat ni bawa masuk international fighters so that we can give exposure at the early age.
I like your point, Dato, about how you want to differentiate from what the competitors do or the other countries do. Coming back to Coastal Combat, sebab saya tak tahu sangat tentang sukan Muay Thai ni, is this normal or is this Malaysian punya stamp? Macam negara lain, Thailand ada tak di tempat macam ni ataupun vibe macam ni?
This is normal for Muay Thai, but doing it in Hard Rock, in a 5-star resort, is different. Selalunya tak ada. So I would like to thank again the people behind it, Desaru Coast and all supporting Muay Thai. This vibe dekat Malaysia behind 5-star resort, benda-benda nice places like this memang tak ada lah. Selalunya we do it in the mall. Sometimes we do it in, just outside the stadium, things like that. But it's different. But the vibe like this, susah nak cari lah.
We have as I said earlier, we have the big boss of DRH here. They've still got a huge land bank. I think thousands of acres still not developed. Dato, for instance, a lot of fighters go to Phuket to camp there, to train there. They spend months there. Of course, kalau dia nak datang sini, dia nak duduk di Hard Rock, bankrupt lah. Kalau nak duduk 3-4 bulan. So maybe in the master plan of DRH Khazanah that owns this Desaru Coast, they can start thinking about other offerings where people can actually stay for a long time. Then gym operators may be willing to invest the money to create a gym here, to bring the coaches here, so that you have that long-term tourist yang datang untuk berlatih di sini. Sebab Coastal Combat, great event, tapi dia one-off. But we want to see Desaru Coast emerge as a sports tourism destination yang mana you can really spend 2-3 months here and train, like what they have in Phuket.
Yeah, we have actually interest from the World Muay Thai Council to open a gym in Johor. Obviously, Bangida tuanku baru-baru ni buat gym for
Khabib,
MMA,
yeah.
for Khabib, yeah. That is for, I think, for MMA. But we have interest from the World Muay Thai Council to do it here, actually, and to open a new gym in Johor. And I think Johor is a perfect destination marketing because it's very close with Singapore. And there are things that we cannot do in Singapore where they can come and enjoy Desaru Coast better and to train here. Because the vibe is the same like in Koh Samui in Phuket.
Yeah.
They come and train professional Muay Thai. They train, they do conditioning, they sleep, they eat, and then they train again. And I think Desaru Coast is a perfect platform.
And what's next for Coastal Combat for this year, next year? What's the vision for this product?
Coastal Combat is actually, this is the first season. So they have a couple of episodes. Episode 1, 2, 3, 4 dah keluar. So obviously they are planning to go to TV to put the reality show on TV and in all the other platforms.
So all the content was over this weekend saja?
Not only over this weekend, they have started filming since last year.
Right.
So they have brought all the athletes here. They do challenges. Like I say, the best way of promoting any events or promoting anything is storytelling. So they talk about the background of the athletes. Okay, they have challenges among them. They put it as Malaysia versus outside, Malaysia versus international fights. And I think now it's like episode 4 is already online on YouTube I think. And they're planning for a second season soon.
Boleh masuk Netflix lah?
InsyaAllah, I think yes.
No, I think very, very interesting.
Ya, terima kasih Datuk Shahnaz kerana telah memberi visi tentang masa depan sukan Muay Thai di Malaysia dan bagaimana Coastal Combat menjadi satu produk, bukan hanya produk pertandingan, tapi lagi penting adalah produk storytelling. I like you using the term storytelling sebab sekarang ni it's all about storytelling.
That's what we're doing.
Yeah. And you can create a story from just something completely random. I watched just now 1.5 hours some guy climbing a building. And it was on Netflix Live. Yes. Alex Honnold, free solo Taipei 101. Yep. and millions of people was watching all that on Netflix. So, I mean, content creation has completely changed. We wish you all the best, ya. Kita bagi tepukan gemuruh kepada Dato Shahnaz Azmi, Presiden Persatuan Muay Thai Malaysia.
Check this out.
Okay.
I look good.
Okay. On the street and I got my swag on. Okay. Get the money, gotta get my bag on. Okay. Triple.
Okay, we're gonna move on to the next segment, and we're gonna get the Tuan Rumah, the host of this wonderful facility that we're at, Mr. Murray Aitken, the General Manager of Hard Rock Hotel, Desaru Coast. Murray, please join us in the ring.
Have you stayed at the Hard Rock before?
I have stayed at the Hard Rock. Yes, I stayed at the Hard Rock during the Letap cycling event. Hard Rock is a bit robust for me. I'm an aging man now, so I prefer the more serene environment of the Antara Hotel. Serene and Antara rather than the Hard Rock. But here we are. Hi, how are you, Murray? Good?
Hey guys, good, thank you.
Yeah,
good to see you again.
So tell us, before we get into Coastal Combat and what a success it's been in its first edition here in the Desaru Coast, how's the Hard Rock Hotel doing? How did it do last year? How are you doing this year?
Very good. I mean, we had a tough year last year, but December is always good. So coming out of December now, January slows down a bit. So Coastal Combat's helped us to lift it up, because always the shoulder period between Ramadan or Chinese New Year, school holidays, gets a bit quieter. But usually these months we have corporate companies, as you were talking earlier about mice, so we target the corporate companies and mice during these few months. And also we get a bit of disruption from the monsoon season. As you can see, the sea is kind of rough at the moment. So we stay away from sea sports and stick to land sports like this.
So, Murray, when they came to you, presumably someone came to you with this idea of hosting the Coastal Combat and co-organizing it. What went through your mind? Was that something that was, kind of off-brand, or did you have to rationalize it in some way, or were you excited from the get-go?
When they asked me would I be involved, I said yes. And they said, well, don't you want to know what the deal is? I said no. I said, why? Because we associate with sport. But I'm not sure if you know the story of Hard Rock. We opened the first cafe in 1971 in Mayfair in London. A couple months later, we were asked, the cafe was asked by a local sports soccer team to sponsor the T-shirts, because they were quite poor. So Hard Rock put their brand on a T-shirt and sponsored it to the players. And everybody liked it. They were giving out extras, and actually they put a small table inside the cafe. This is 1971 in Mayfair, and started selling the T-shirt. And that's where our branded T-shirts began. So actually we've come full circle from 1971 till today, where we're more than just a music company. We're actually an entertainment company with casinos, sports. We have a stadium in Miami. We're the host of the Formula One Grand Prix. Lionel Messi is one of our ambassadors. I have one of his tags here, pins. About 5 years we've been working with Lionel Messi, and it was quite coincidental that he moved to Miami to join David Beckham's Inter Miami, which is right at our stadium in Miami. So going full circle, when DRH approached me, I said, yes, we're in, because we're associated with a lot of sport, boxing as well, globally. We're coming back to Vegas with our new property opening in 2027 on the Strip, and I think we'll be hosting large, upscale, really world-class boxing events and hopefully Muay Thai events as well.
So you've done triathlon here, the Ironman 70.3, there's the Letap cycling, you've done golf, obviously now you're doing combat sports. What other kind of sporting products do you think can make a good proposition to work together with Hard Rock and Desaru Coast in general? Yeah.
So I think you mentioned quite a few of them earlier. Definitely the Ironman we're associated with. And you mentioned it earlier, in October we have the World Amateur Golf. So Hard Rock is the official hotel, just confirmed this week. We have about 600 players from about 46 countries, over 5 continents coming. So that will be held at the Els Club. Aside from that, and I was just talking with the DRH team last night, a lot of big golfing events we're going after for this, because we've got the facility already. And you were mentioning about the lift and the accessibility coming in here with the roads being improved, now the ferry. We will look at any sports that come in. We'd hope to get the bicycle race, which you participated in, Letap, or any other variant of that. And then also, I think, moving down the line, there's tennis, paddleball, pickleball, all these become very popular. And we see a lot of Singaporeans coming over to Johor and using the facilities there. So I think you mentioned if we could have a Hard Rock gym here, I can convince Hard Rock International, or we can participate with you to have a gym. Things that bring families and kids and all kinds of generations in here, because then the family stays longer. They use the beaches, they use the golf course, they use all the facilities around here. So I think any kind of sport, even if we will look at horses and equestrian, polo, we have got so much space here. So I think it's been a long years in the making, Desaru. I've been here 5.5 years now, and I actually live in Johor for almost 20 years, and I've seen this destination grow. But the last sort of 10 years, it's really starting to accelerate. And I think with the space we have, we could have a lot of sporting activities.
Shahril is the vice president of the Malaysian Paddle Association. I'm not sure if that association is actually registered with the sports commissioner or not. But,
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
It is, okay. But maybe you can bring one of your
we could do,
national championships here.
I'll speak to the president of the association and do paddle with Hard Rock. Murray, you actually answered a bit of this already, but just to develop your answer a bit more. How does Hard Rock position itself to be different, to be unique compared to the other slew of properties that are in DRH?
Good question. I mean, Hard Rock, as I said, began as a cafe company. First cafes in 1971. Still today, we have over 250 cafes worldwide. Our first hotel opened in 1995, and then we went into the casino business. We now have Hard Rock Stadium. We have Hard Rock Live, we have one in here, which is stages, which stage music. So we do music festivals, we do sporting events, and anything that goes a little bit to the edge, like Muay Thai, like boxing, like Ironman, which pushes endurance. Anything that is not just generic. You know, maybe we'll get involved in tennis, but I think Muay Thai is more our direction. You know what I mean? Pickleball, perhaps, because it's fast, it's energetic. So what does Hard Rock do? We anything that goes away from the norm of hospitality, we will connect to. We work very closely with Red Bull, and as you know, Red Bull sponsors adrenaline sports, skydiving. I'm actually a qualified skydiver. We do all kinds of things like that. So we sponsor the Red Bull team for Formula One. We're one of the sponsors. So anything that, again, brings energy, excitement, and drives a demand or a business into our destinations worldwide, we will attach ourselves to. Even golf.
I remember when I was at the Ministry of Youth and Sports sometime in 2014, we had the Red Bull Air Race in Putrajaya. There was a strip, an airstrip that we built temporary, and we had these planes racing through the Putrajaya Lake.
Yeah.
Is that, I mean, not specifically the air race, but could we get Red Bull to come and think about doing something crazy here?
Yeah, I mean, if we want leverage to talk to Red Bull, we've got that leverage. We could do that.
Yeah.
I think it's a great idea because they're willing to push to the edge with adrenaline sports.
Yeah.
And I think with the space we have here, 17 kilometers of beach, we have the space to do these kind of adrenaline sports.
So Murray, compared to KJ's income bracket, I come from the income bracket where I would come to Hard Rock more than any other property in Desaru. So I have actually experienced your hospitality here a couple of times. And what's unique and what I found surprising, at least the first time, is that although you say it's, Hard Rock's brand is edgy and you're trying to do something off the norm from normal hospitality, as it were, but there's also quite a welcoming vibe for families.
Yes.
I don't know, Kari, if you're aware, but you can come. There's a kids club in Hard Rock Hotel that my daughters spend countless hours in before. You can get an electric guitar delivered to your room and just mess around with it. The room itself is quite family friendly. The experience is family friendly. Is that a unique Hard Rock experience? Is it quite unique to Desaru?
No, it's a unique Hard Rock experience, but I think here in Desaru we've been given the opportunity by our ownership, DRH, to really grow on that. The Kids Club Rock City is a major thing. It's one of our brand standards you'll have worldwide. And it's not just a kids club where you drop your kids off and give them Lego. It's actually a program that runs all through the day. With regards to wellness is a huge industry. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry growing in Malaysia. We've got a new spa coming as well. And then also, as we say, music brings you the pleasure to your soul, but sports relieves you and exercises you. Then you've got all these other activities which the hotel is connected with. Hard Rock here, we are connected with the water park. And the water park is a world-class water park with one of the biggest wave pools in Asia. So we work with us. So if you book direct with us, you get free access to the water park. And the water park is something that drives all ages of families, from youngsters. And we're actually going through the next few years some renovations of the park. And we're working, Hard Rock will be working very closely with the ownerships on some of the branding across the park. And we're getting involved in the water park. And globally, we're looking at some theme parks and water sports as well. Because again, not only does it drive in the business, which is what we're there for, hotels, but it brings in families for that longer period of stay. And that's what Desaru is providing. It's providing multiple things you can do so that you don't just come for one night. You actually come and stay a few days. And as we grow now into sport, I think this will attract all generations and all age groups as well. Because not only you've got the competitors, but you've got the families, you've got the spectators, and there's a lot for them to do. So yeah, Hard Rock connects with that very well.
Murray, we have at our doorstep near southern Johor, obviously a big source of potential people coming here, which is Singapore. Not just Singaporeans, not just the expatriates who live in Singapore, but also people who travel through Singapore, which is a big hub. How are we doing in terms of marketing Desaru Coast with that market? Not just within Singapore, but obviously telling the world that you can actually fly into Singapore and actually have fun in Desaru Coast.
Great question. So coming just before COVID, we had about 8% international business. Obviously, COVID changed that. Growing out of COVID, it started to grow. We're at about 15% last year international business. Not only does it come through Singapore, but direct in as well. They'll fly into usually Kuala Lumpur and then come down to Senai and across to here. And there are some international flights flying into Senai now as well, Bangkok, Jakarta. So our first focus after coming out of COVID was regional. We focused on Indonesia. We've spread now into China. Our Ministry of Tourism Malaysia have last year done a lot of trips into China, promoting China tourism. So we attached ourselves with them. Our Hard Rock team went with. So we're driving business out of China, Korea, India. These are the main markets at the moment. We still do get a lot of customers out of Europe, but usually they will come through Singapore. They'll shop in Singapore, but come over to the coast here and then go back and then fly home. And that's growing. So I'm hoping that this year we can go to about 18% international business, but it's been growing year on year. And I think that's the next big thing. And with international events like this, and the golfing event coming up, the more that we do, it'll bring in not only the spectators and the participators, but also the families. So I think DRH are doing a lot of work with regards to bringing that in.
In your estimation or analysis, have these events really translated to people coming back without events, if you know what I mean?
Yes, absolutely, because they'll come during the event and they'll find that they spent a lot of time at the event, they didn't spend enough time on the beach or at the water park, and then they come back. And we have good programs, we have our Hard Rock Unity program, our rewards program, that they know they can earn the points and come back and earn and burn. So things like that, they want to come back and drive.
Murray, I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit. We've got the big boss of DRH here in front of you. What would you like to see as part of the master plan, not just for Hard Rock, but the remaining land bank? What types of products do you want to see brought here? More F&B, more adventure, more facilities that will enhance not just the Hard Rock, but the entire Desaru Coast area?
Yeah, I think Darim and I spoke about that already, and he's only been about a month with us. It's exciting because we have a lot of space. I think you spoke earlier about other hotels, smaller hotels, the lower class hotels as well, even glamping, because we've got a great coastline here. Sports, a lot of sport, a lot of facilities, whether a sports center, indoor, outdoor. There's other stuff, I think, like go-karting, which attracts quite a bit of adrenaline as well, mountain biking, all kinds of things like that. And I mentioned even equestrian, polo. If you know what's happening in Singapore, a lot of the polo clubs are being reclaimed now, taken back. The Kranji horse racing closed down. So there's a lot of opportunity here. And I think for third-party investors to start coming into the coast here, I think it'll be fantastic. So all of those, anything sport-related, I think is what brings families in here and brings you the repeat business. And also with the roads here and for being able to do training prior to the sports, we have a lot of facility here for that.
I know a certain gentleman here in Johor that you can talk to about polo. Good luck.
I know. I'll leave that to Darim.
Maybe one of the final questions from me, Murray, is just explain to us how much cooperation or collaboration happens between the different properties in Desaru Coast. Do you guys discuss strategies so that the messaging outside is the same? I know you compete healthily, but I'm sure there's also a lot of collaboration that can happen.
Absolutely. With our new CEO of the destination, Israel, he brings the GMs together regularly. We're all friends. Some of us golf together. Some of us play other sports together, meet casually and professionally. So I think it's critically important underneath one ownership. You know, it's not about competing. What I've always said, and I've been here for quite a while, about 5.5 years, what I've always said to the other GMs is that you all drive the same game. That's to bring people to the destination. The hotels will fill up together. They'll fill up together. And we're all different size hotels with a different offering. And that's one of the essential things that we already have. So as we continue to grow, I think different offerings on different levels of hotels will be needed. And of course, as the lift improves and the road structures improve, we can then have more facilities here as well for that. Because you can't have too much demand or too much supply. At the moment, we've got just the right amount, but providing too much supply, we've got to then drive the business in. And I think that's what DRH understands when it comes to this destination.
Murray, the last time I was here with Shahril, we were here for the Ombak Festival, and I listened. I was in the audience when Simply Red played that night. There's something magical about Desaru Coast. You know, they're walking around the grounds, really open spaces, and the way it was set up was really, really nice. Tell us the vibe last night. It must have been a bit different, a bit more different from listening to Mick Hucknall. But what kind of energy did you see from the Coastal Combat event last night?
Oh, it's great energy. I mean, I'm going to go back to music, our DNA. You had different types of music during the actual fight. And then you had the theme from Rocky playing. So music actually drives quite a lot of that vibe. But the vibe was spectacular. I mean, the bouts are short. And they were, I would say, unedited. You know, it was really wild. I said it was quite wild, right? A bit of blood here and there, a couple of stretches to take a few guys away. Thankfully, the guy's okay. The energy was wild, and I thought it was right spot on for our brand. Because we're known as a hard rock, so you can't really change that name. But today we have associations with Ed Sheeran, we have associations with Shakira, Taylor Swift. So we're not just about rock music. But when you have these kind of events like last night, it was pure hard rock music playing, and that's really resonates with us. So it was a good vibe.
Taylor Swift.
Hard knocks at Hard Rocks. Ha ha ha.
Hard knocks.
Yeah.
Hard knocks.
Yeah, great. And maybe any last words, Murray, for this year? What are your hopes for Hard Rock in Desaru Coast and also for Desaru Coast in general?
Oh, I want to just see the continued growth of the destination. And I always say this when I speak with our owners. You know, we're here for the destination. The brand is here for the destination. We believed in it right from the beginning, 9 years ago when we signed the deal. Everything we've been speaking about, you know, it doesn't happen overnight. You know, it takes time. It's a difficult destination when it comes to getting people here and the slow growth. But I think this year, with the new team on board in DRH, I think we're going to accelerate that growth. I think everybody's aligned with what's needed here, and that's really activities and attractions. And that'll keep people staying here longer. And that's really what you want at the end of the day. But not only to get them to come off and stay one, and I think you mentioned earlier, you don't want it to be a one-off event. You want people to come back. And they come back because of the experience. Today, people can afford to travel. They can choose any hotel. And it's not just about the design and the brand. It's really about that experience that they have, and that's the reason why they'll come back. So when they come just to a hotel, your chances of them coming back is limited. I think the key is the experience that they have around the hotel and actually in the destination is what's going to bring them back. So that's what I'm looking forward to seeing continue to grow year on year at the destination here.
Sorry, I was reading recently, I can't remember where, Bloomberg maybe, the average spend for luxury items starting to come down. There's only so many handbags that you can buy, and people are now spending more on experiences. So I think what Murray said is absolutely spot on. They're here not just for the luxury hotel room, but actually what they're going to do here, what they're going to spend their time creating that core memories with their family here.
Absolutely. I think I read the same report, and I feel I live that as well. Right? We don't look for stuff. We look for experiences with family, with loved ones, and that's what people are consuming on. So I think you're absolutely on the right track, Murray. Last question for me: any hopes for Coastal Combat in the years to come? Anything you will try and do differently? Anything you want to discuss with the organizers about next year and beyond?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we're in with as a partner if we're accepted. I'd hope to see it inside a built stadium. you know. And I'd like to see us doubling up in size and making it a longer event. Even have, as you mentioned earlier in your earlier conversations, training ground as a training ground here, and then they come back for the competitions and various different competitions, not just Muay Thai. Maybe we can get UFC here, maybe we can get boxing here. Anything that brings families and spectators, I think, is really. I think the investment in the destination is there's no retreating. We've got to keep going forward now, and that's the key thing.
Okay, that's all for Keluar Sekejap episode, special episode khas bersama dengan Coastal Combat Desaru Coast. Thank you very much. Thank you everyone.
Thank you.